Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, we are going to be talking about your forehand, how to limit the errors with your forehand ground stroke.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about when you're hitting the ball long or in the net. We're going to teach you how to get more spin to keep the ball from going long, and also how to find a target window over the net that will help you keep the ball out of the net.
All right, so stay tuned.
Alright, so if your ball is sailing long and you want to get more topspin, I'm going to show you a few things that will help you get more topspin. And if you watch the pros, they actually measure this. They measure topspin by measuring the RPMs, or the revolutions per minute of the ball. And it's clear that they're way ahead of everybody else. Their RPMs are way higher than the average player. So how do they do it? Number one, you've got to learn how to get the racket under the ball. So you do that when you drop the racket down here, and when you get into your loaded position, the racket has to be below the ball and your hand has to be loose. If you're really tight here, the racket's never going to drop below. So as they get into here and get those hips opened up, they're really loose in the wrist here, and the racket is starting low. And now, because they're loose, they're also able to accelerate up faster. So there's a faster low to high swing because of the looseness, but there's also more of a vertical swing because they're so low. So you're coming from this low to high position and maybe even finishing down here, but really accelerating up the back of the ball and getting that ball spinning as fast as you possibly can. All right, on these first few swings, I'm gonna go a little more straight through instead of dropping under it. I'm gonna be a little bit tighter and drive straight through and hitting more of a flatter ball that maybe you're used to hitting. So there's not as much of a drop below, and there's not really a vertical swing on these three here. I can hit the ball hard, but I can't get spin on it, and I'm gonna miss that shot long a lot, or I'm gonna have to hit it so low that I'll hit it in the net because I don't have that spin bringing it down. The last three, I'm gonna get under it and brush up and show you the difference of the swing path. Under and swinging way up on that one. Two more. Under. That's a much heavier ball. That ball's jumping 6 feet and hitting that back fence. All right, on those last few forehands, you could see a big difference in my swing path. I was letting that racket head drop a lot lower, and I was coming way more vertical on my swing and really accelerating faster. There's three huge advantages to swinging like that. Number one, I'm getting that ball to have so much topspin that it's really hard to hit it long. So it's gonna go deep into the court but drop down instead of sailing out on those flatter balls. Number two, because I'm coming up on this steeper angle, I'm clearing the net by about 3 to 4 feet, which means I'm not gonna be hitting the ball in the net ever, which is awesome. And the last thing, the third thing, is when that ball bounces, it's gonna be jumping up out of my opponent's strike zone. So that ball is gonna be coming up here, where they're either gonna have to hit it out of their strike zone, or they're gonna have to move up to take it on the rise, or back way up into the green to get that ball down back into their strike zone after it came off that high bounce.
All right, obviously topspin is one of the better things that you can have to make the ball, but what if you don't hit with a lot of topspin? There is still a trick that you can do to make you more consistent. And the idea of this is understanding the window that you need to pass the ball over. And the window looks like this. Your ideal window is about 3 racket heights. So this racket sideways is 1 height. And then we go up again, that's 2. And then we go up again, and that's 3. And if you can figure out how to pass the ball through this window all the time, you're gonna be more consistent. And the way that you regulate this is if the ball passes low once, you immediately think to yourself, okay, I need to pick the next ball up. It's gotta pass through this window again. And if you start getting over this window, you're gonna run the risk of missing the ball long. And so if you pass one up in here, then you immediately pull the next one down. It looks something like this. All right, so I'm gonna be holding my racket out here. Todd's gonna hit some balls, and we're gonna show you when a shot would need to be adjusted. So if Todd's passing balls right through here, right about my racket height, right through there, he's gonna be pretty safe even if you have a flatter shot. However, if that ball starts to go right up in here, that is the top of the line. So if it goes much higher than this, he's gonna make an error. So once a ball passes up there, he's gonna say to himself, okay, I need to adjust my shot, because if I don't adjust it, I'm gonna make an error. So we drop it back down through here, and he goes for here again. If the ball starts to pass down right through here and it gets low like this, if you do that 3 or 4 times, you're gonna make an error. So once that ball passes through there, then he immediately adjusts his next shot, and this is all thought process. Right back through this kind of sweet spot here where you're gonna make less errors. So that is one of the better ways to adjust if you have a flatter shot instead of a lot of topspin. All right, these 2 tips in today's video are gonna help your forehand to be more consistent.
And if you can learn that low to high heavy topspin ball that I was showing you, number one, you're gonna be kicking that ball out of your opponent's strike zone, which is great. And also, you're gonna be way more consistent because that heavy topspin dips down and doesn't sail long.
Right, and we both think that topspin's probably your way to go. However, we do understand that not everybody hits with a lot of topspin. So if you're one of those people, you need to understand the net clearance, the window over that net, so you can be more consistent with your forehand.
Yep, so if you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel, and we'll be back next week with some more tips for you guys to work on your game.
All right, we're waiting. Subscribe. Let's just wait here.
Okay.
All right, we'll see you next week.